everyone, and welcome to this video where we are reviewing Target's latest addition to its series of 10 standard books, that is the SSC Question Paper Set. Now at Target, it is our most fervent desire to help you build powerful concepts, and it is this that we have kept in mind while creating for you this powerhouse of a book with its exciting features. So let's take a look at the general features of this book and what it has to offer. Let's read what are its salient features. The first and most important thing about this book is that it comprises of 45 model question papers. You have been provided with 5 question papers per subject. So that's 5 for history, geography, science 1, science 2, maths 1, maths 2, English, Hindi and Marathi. That's 9 sections with 5 papers each. Now each of these subjects have their solutions for 3 papers provided to you in the book itself. Now you must think, but what about the other 2 papers for each subject? Well, the solutions for those have been provided to you online, and you can access them through the scanning of QR codes which have been provided in the book. I will demonstrate this for you later in this video, but these will give you the solutions at your fingertips. The next wonderful feature of this book is that it is based on the latest changes made to the evaluation format provided by the Maharashtra State Bureau of Textbook Production and Curriculum Research, Pune. So all these latest changes have been included while creating for you these model question papers. The next feature is that you have been provided a detailed analysis of the paper pattern at the beginning of every subject section so that you can better understand the evaluation format. Besides this, we have also included key questions from your standard 9th syllabus, again in accordance with the guidelines of the Maharashtra State Board. Now we here at Target believe in always going the extra mile for our students and in making better books. And these next 2 features will tell you about our dedication to providing you with the best products in the market. As you can see, we have also provided you with a question-wise breakup of marks so that you can better understand how to attempt the question papers in an effective manner. And finally, we have also given you notes at relevant touch points so that you can answer your questions more accurately. We don't only want to help you in what to answer, but also how to answer it. So now that we have seen the common features of this book, let's take a look at what is inside. Let's open up the book and see what is included in this wonderful, exciting book that is brought to you by Target. If you open the book, you will see that in the first section, that is the English section, you have the marking scheme as promised given to you for evaluation understanding. We then have the detailed analysis of the question paper format, as I have already mentioned before. When we move on, you will see that you have the model question paper 1 followed by 2, 3, 4 and 5, as I have already told you. Now finally, I also want to say that our efforts and dedication in providing you with the best product is limited not only to our content, but is also reflected in the presentation of our product. And what do I mean by this? If you take a look at the model answer sheet that has been provided to you, which is basically the solutions of the question papers, if you take a look at this model answer sheet, you will see that we have recreated the answer booklet that you will be facing in your examination. And why exactly have we done this? We have done this so you can see for yourself how you must present your answers. We have also kept in mind the making of the margins that you must also make in your answer booklet and the fact that you must answer these questions in a sequential manner. As you can see, these answers have been provided in the correct presentation so you can learn from them for maximum benefit. For example, we have left this space empty because once you finish a question, you must start the next question from a new page. And this is what I mean, that we reflect our dedication even in the presentation of our product. If we move on, you can see that we have also given you in the first solution of every subject a breakup of the marks for each answer. So if you take a look at the solution for every subject in the first paper solution, we have given you a distribution of marks telling you which portion of the answer is worth how much. For example, we all know about letter writing. Here I have an informal letter and to my left is a formal letter. In an informal letter, there are certain marks provided to certain sections. Let's quickly go through what these sections are. A half mark is provided for writing the sender's address. Another half mark is for the salutation or greeting. You have 2.5 marks for the flow of content or body of the letter and 1 mark for the grammar, and finally a half mark is provided for closing. Let's see in comparison what is the marks distribution for a formal letter. In a formal letter, half a mark is given for a sender's address, half mark for the receiver's address. You have another half mark given for your subject line, 2 marks for flow of content, 1 mark for grammar in the body, and finally a half mark for closing. Now, as you can see, both these questions are worth 5 marks. And usually students think that an informal letter is easier and better to write than a formal one. But once you know this breakup of the marks as we have given you, you can see for yourself that a formal letter is more scoring because the body has less marks as compared to the body in an informal letter. There are more ways to score in a formal letter, and because of this we have given you this distribution of marks in the solutions to the first paper of every subject. Now, anyone can create a model question paper based on your syllabus, but what separates a good question paper from the rest are the types of questions. Now, as you know, your new paper pattern as prescribed by the board has a new approach where they focus more on your understanding than a test of your memory. And because of this, they have given you a plethora of questions in your paper pattern. These are various different types of questions, and we guarantee you that you will find every single type of question for every subject in your 5 model question papers given for that subject. So we have included every different type of questions. Now let me give you a glimpse of the types of questions available in our book. We have various types of questions. For example, under the history banner, we have the questions like completing the timeline. We also have questions where you have to observe the picture and answer the questions that follow, that is picture-based questions. Under the geography banner, we have questions where you have to not only draw the graph, but read it, interpret it, and answer the questions that follow. You also have the marking of maps that will be another different type of questions along with reading and interpreting the maps as well. You then have questions in Science 1, which is the multiple choice type of questions. You also have questions where you have to complete the flowchart, for example, in chemistry. You also have questions that are based on paragraphs where you have to read the paragraph and answer the different type of questions. We have also provided you with different types of questions in physics. For example, here where you have to correct the diagram given to you. You have other types of questions in chemistry, for example, where you have to write the chemical reactions or talk about their importance. You also have paragraph-based questions in biology or science 2 as well. And you have questions based on diagram in biology. And as you can see, we have provided you with the breakup in this question where you can see you have 2 marks for the correct diagram plus labels and 3 marks for explanation. So these are the hints that we have provided you in our solutions to help you answer your questions more effectively. So this gives you a glimpse into the large variety of questions that we have created and designed specifically for your examination needs. Now, as I have mentioned before, this book is based on the latest changes as prescribed by the Maharashtra State Board. So let's quickly take a look at what are the changes in the paper pattern. Now, the major changes for the English medium students have been in the subjects of English and Marathi. Let's take a look quickly at these changes. As you can see, for your benefit, I have laid next to each other the old and the new paper pattern. Let's highlight the changes in this paper pattern. In question 1A, B, 2A and 2B, there has been no change. The first change in the paper pattern comes in question 4B. As you can see, previously question 4B was a summary or a précis writing section. In this section, you were given an unseen passage and you had to either summarize it or write a précis on it. But now the difference is that instead of getting two separate unseen passages for 4A and 4B, you're going to get only one unseen passage in question 4A, and you have to summarize or write a précis on the same passage which is given in 4A. Keep in mind, 4A is also an unseen passage, but now you won't have separate unseen passages, but 4B will be based on 4A. The major change in your paper comes in the writing skills section. As you can see, previously in your old portion, in your old paper pattern, there were no options at all. But now the new paper pattern gives you a variety of options. Question 5A, as you can see, now gives you an option between writing a formal or an informal letter. Previously, you had no option. They could have given you a formal letter or they could have given you an informal letter. You had to be prepared for both and attempt whatever was in the examination. Now you have an option between informal and formal letter writing. Now you look at question 5B. You have an option between dialogue writing and an interview question. Similarly, in question 6A, you now have an option in information transfer where it could be verbal to non-verbal or non-verbal to verbal. You will get an option. Now you look at question 6B, you have an option between writing a speech or writing a view-counter-view question. But remember, within this, there is no option. So either you'll get a speech or view, these will be your options, or you'll have speech and counter-view and these will be your options. Similarly, in the creative writing section in question 7A, there is an option between expanding a theme and writing a news report based on a headline. And in question 7B, finally, you have an option between narrating an experience and developing a story or developing a story, which means you'll have an option between narrating an experience and a story or an option between two stories. One could be where they have given you the beginning and one could be where they have given you the ending or simply given you the points, and these would be your options. So as you can see, the new paper pattern is filled with options and therefore makes your job a lot easier. So these were the changes in the paper pattern for the English medium students for the English subject. Now for the Marathi medium students, the changes in the English subject are almost all the same. The only difference is in question 5B. The options in questions 5B are between a dialogue and a speech. You don't have any interview questions and you don't have any view-counter-view questions. Your options are between dialogue and speech. And finally, you also have in question 6B an option between expanding an idea, narrating an experience, or developing a story, or writing a descriptive essay. So these are the only changes in the English subject. Let's move on to the changes in the Marathi subject. Now, the best part about the Marathi subject is that the changes in the English medium and the Marathi medium are exactly the same. So let's take a look at what are the changes in the Marathi subject. As you can see, in the first Vibhag, there is no change. The first change comes in the second Vibhag, that is under the question A. And in this question, initially, you had comprehension of a poem. But now, in the new paper pattern, what you have is that you will be given questions based on a poem. So basically, this question is completely changed. First, you were asked comprehensive questions on a poem. Now, in the new paper pattern, in this question, you will be given an option between two textual poems. And based on these two textual poems, you will have to answer these questions. And what will these questions be like? You will have to answer 6 questions, 4 of which will be 1 mark questions and 2 of which will be 2 marks questions. 1 marks questions could be like, what is the name of the poet? What is the type of literature, the meter, the writing style? What is the subject of the poem in one line? What is the nature of the poem? And what is the collection to which this poem belongs to? 2 mark questions could be like, what is the characteristic of the writing style of the poet? What is the theme of the poem? What are your favorite lines? Why do you like or dislike the poem? And what is the moral or the lesson you learn from this poem? And these are the questions that they will ask based on a textual poem. And remember, you have an option. They will give you 2 poems. The questions remain the same. You can choose whether to answer it for one poem or the other. So this is the change in the R question. The next change in the Marathi paper pattern takes place directly in the 5th Vibhag. And you can see here it is in Saransh Lekhan, or simply speaking summary writing. In summary writing, initially you had a question to write a summary for a passage, but now what you have here is that you will not be given a new passage, but you will have to write the summary of the same passage which was in question 1E. And therefore now again the question remains the same. You still have to write a summary, but instead of giving you another passage, they are asking you to write the summary of the passage which is given in question 1E of the paper. And this wraps up the changes in the Marathi paper pattern as well. The reason I mentioned these changes to you is because we have kept in mind these changes while building and creating this wonderfully effective examination paper practice book especially for you. And all these changes have been included while keeping in mind the design and effectiveness of the model question papers that we have included in this book. Now finally, let me show you how to access the solutions to those 2 elusive model question papers that I was talking about earlier. You simply have to scan the QR code that is provided in the index of your book. You take your mobile phone, scan the QR code. Once you do this, you will be prompted to download the solutions from the website. You click on the website and this will prompt you to download these solutions. You simply click on download, and once you open this file, you will see that the solutions are all there for your perusal. So this is how you can access the solutions to the last 2 papers of each subject right at your fingertips. So this completes my review of this wonderful feature-packed product that Target has brought to you for your examination needs. And as always, our dedication has proved that this book is the epitome of great studying. So thank you for watching this review, and I hope you will go out there and utilize this book for your maximum benefit.